Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joseph. Quick and simple gospel. Yeshua, Jesus, came to this earth, lived a perfect life, was crucified on a cross for our sins, buried in a tomb for 3 days, and rose from the grave on the third day. We are saved through faith in Christ alone and by no other name. Amen. So, good evening, guys. Hope you're all doing well today. Got a few things to talk about. The biggest story we're going to talk about, Trump's new White House ballroom, all by the numbers. And then we're also going to cover a few shorter videos I did over the last few days. Doug Martin, Dead at 36, the hunting stand connected to Trump, and then also Andrea Bocelli singing Time to Say Goodbye to Trump. We're going to cover all that tonight. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me check in with the chat. Much love, Mom of Texas 3, Betty, Maranatha, Gene Spliced, Mariana. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's see how we're looking on the screen here. Hey, Apache. Good to see you. How's the sound, guys? Let me know. Do we look and sound okay? Looks pretty good on my end. Thank you, Robbie. Hey, Brenda. All right, guys, do me a favor. When you come in, please hit the like button. Very much appreciated. Helps out the algorithm and helps more people find the video. And also, please hit the share button. That way we can get this out to more people. Hey, Lori. Hey, Betty. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. It's not going to be one of them 3-hour long live streams. At least I don't think so tonight. I'm hoping to get this done in around 45 minutes. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Just give me a second to get all set up, and then we'll get started. So I was going to try to put this in a, like a short 5 to 10 minute video, but I said, you know what? This is too much to try to put in a 5-minute video. Let's just go live with it. So here we are. And before I get started, I got to give a shout out to 2 different people. Let me tell you what happened. So I was on Zach's channel, Gematria Effect News, and I was reading his comments. I didn't get a chance to watch his whole video. It's like 3 hours long. But anyways, I was reading his comments, and someone named Gematria2222 dropped a comment about the ballroom, and then Disambiguation144 left another comment under that. So it's those comments that inspired me to put this decode together. The information was so undeniable, I just had to cover it. And then I was also able to find some stuff on top of what they found. So shout out to those guys. And yeah, so I can't take credit for everything here. But like I always say, all credit goes to God. We wouldn't know anything, if it wasn't for God. So he gets all the credit. Amen? All right, guys. And you may have noticed in my intro, after almost 6 years, I switched it up a little bit. For 6 years, I've been saying, Yeshua, Jesus, came to this earth, lived a perfect 33 years. Well, I'm going to, if I can remember, because, I've said it about 10,000 times, I'm going to try to say, instead of a perfect 33 years, lived a perfect life. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, it's assumed that Jesus lived 33 years, but it does not specifically say that. Now, I still think he did live 33 years, but anyways, just, so I'm being as, what's the word, correct as I can be. I don't want to say anything incorrect. So I'm going to just go with perfect. Lived a perfect life. All right. And then also through the years, because of that intro, people have accused me of being a Freemason because the whole 33 connection. So now for the record, there is another 33 in the intro because I say Yeshua, Jesus, came to this earth, lived a perfect 33 years, or perfect life now, was crucified on a cross for our sins, buried in a tomb for 3 days, and rose from the grave on the third day. So there's another 33. And if you want to be real crazy, you could say crucified on a cross, CC. But for the record, nope, not a Freemason. I just thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and switch up the intro to perfect life. That way I'm not saying anything incorrect there. So yeah, there's that. And I think that's all I need to get out of the way for now. What do you guys think in the chat? You guys got any issues with that? I don't think you would, right? But yeah, it's generally assumed that Jesus lived 33 years. But from now on, now I can't promise you every time I might slip up and accidentally say 33 years because it's I'm so used to it. But I think God's okay with it either way. He knows my intentions, and that's all that matters. So you guys ready for the decode here? So got the intro out of the way, gave credit where credit's due. Let's get to the numbers. So let me give you my other speech. We're going to break this down all by the numbers using gematria, which is simply letters as numerals. And once you learn this simple code of coding letters into numbers, you can see right through the scripted coded news every day. And by the way, if I sound out of breath tonight, I am. I had way too much chili with bread, and one of these days, probably starting next week, because my first two kids that I have, they have the same birthday, 3 years apart. It's on October 26th, so probably going to eat some food this weekend, but I have got to go on a diet. I trimmed my beard today for the first time in months, and I'm looking a little chubby, and I'm out of breath from all the food I'm eating. So now that we got that out of the way, I think we can get started now. All right? And guys, again, please hit that like button when you come in. Much love to Preston, Jim, Madison, and everybody in the chat. Okay, here we go. So you guys have probably heard about the new White House Ballroom, right? Trump's new White House Ballroom. And like I said, it was Gematria2230 that put this in the comments. So I got this first part from him. He pointed out that demolition for the new White House Ballroom began on October 20th, which is 128 days from Trump's birthday. And as he pointed out, ballroom equals 128. So that's fantastic, right? And we've pointed out this one in the past. President Donald John Trump is 128. And this part here, I found this part. But again, all credit to God. But this is, part of why I decided to go live. I said, wow, you put all that together, that's really undeniable. So look at the name. White House State Ballroom is 128. Look at that, guys. So not only is ballroom 128, White House State Ballroom is 128. President Donald John Trump, they're all 128, right? And demolition began 128 days from Trump's birthday. I mean, you couldn't script it any better. This is a perfect example of news by the numbers. So this is a good one to share with your friends and family. Yeah, right, Brian? The ballroom, B-A-A-L, right? But anyways, that's the first thing I want to point out, the 128s. And you guys know we've talked about the 128s before. And, this is connected to demolition, right? I'm going to get to the 128s with that bridge collapse. Because remember, all the 128s, which led to the bridge collapse, right? And all that. So it's almost like like a rebirth ritual, this 128. But anyways, I'm I got a few more examples that we've talked about in the past, like this one. The Supreme Court ruled Monday, that was July 1st, 2024, in Trump v. United States, that a former president has substantial immunity from prosecution for official acts committed while in office, but not for unofficial acts. I pointed out back then, we got that news 128 days before the election. And notice immunity from prosecution is 128. See how they highlighted and underlined immunity from prosecution? 128, like President Donald John Trump, 128. And that was in the news 128 days before the election. So again, you couldn't script it any better. And remember the hush money trial, right? And there's so much more I could get into, but I've been over it 1,000 times over the years. All the indictments were by the numbers, okay? I don't know if any of the indictment videos are left on this channel. I've made over 10,000 videos. There's only like 1,000, maybe between 1,000 and 2,000, I think, on this channel. I'm on channel number 14, but if you're on my Facebook, just go type in the search, go type in indictment. You'll see all the indictments were by the numbers. But anyways, the hush money trial, it says Trump trial live update. Stormy Daniels takes the stand to testify today in hush money case. That was on the 128th day of the year, when hush money is 128. And also, not only was it on the 128th day of the year, like hush money 128, it was on 5/7. And look at that, Stormy Daniels, 57, hush money case, 57. But anyways, we're talking about the 128s, right? So again, if you're just coming in, the demolition for the ballroom began October 20th, 128 days from Trump's birthday. Ballroom 128, White House State Ballroom 128, President Donald John Trump 128. So perhaps the biggest example of the 128 is the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And this is still, after all this time, I don't know, definitely top 5 decodes I've ever seen. It's so undeniable, okay? So long story short, you remember the cargo ship named Dali? By the way, Salvador Dali has a famous painting called The Broken Bridge in the Dream, which equals 128. That's not even on here. But the bridge collapse was at 128. You see that? And it was the Francis Scott Key Bridge, right? So not only did it collapse at 128, but it collapsed 128 days before Francis Scott Key's birthday. And in gematria, bridge collapse equals 128. And it happened in Maryland, which equals 128. And this is connected to Obama's movie, Leave the World Behind, where the cargo ship White Lion lost power, right? Remember, this ship Dolly lost power and hit the bridge. So Obama's movie, the cargo ship was called White Lion, which equals 128. And Leave the World Behind came out on Netflix on December 8th, which is 12/8, 128, right? And the movie is about the power grid going down. Power grid is 128. And it also happened 128 days after Biden's birthday, while he was president. And then, remember, White Lion equals 128? So White Lion loses power and comes ashore with 128 minutes left in the movie. And then 128 minutes into the movie, we see a bridge collapse. Can you believe that? And this is Obama's movie. President Barack Obama equals 128. The Antichrist, Barack Hussein Obama, is 128. Barack and Michelle Obama were born 128 weeks and 0 days apart. And I found this one recently. There's so much I could say about Lil Nas X and Obama. But anyways, the Luke 10:18 Satan shoes came out 128 days from Obama's birthday. Just a few things off the top of my head. Remember the guy that looked like Obama in the J Christ video? Remember we found out he was born, what was it, 222 months? Hold on. And this is where we start getting a little sideways, but I want to be accurate. So we had the guy that looked like Obama in the video. That's with the Luke 10:18 Satan shoes in that video. Luke 10:18, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Barak means, Luke 10:18, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Barak means lightning. Bomb of the heights. Here, let's just pull it up. I've been talking about their connection for years. But yeah, the Little Nas X video, J Christ, where this guy who looks like Obama is in the video. We found out he was born 222 months before Little Nas X, the Antichrist, Barack Obama. 222, the guy who tested positive for COVID 222 days from his birthday. Wuhan coronavirus 222, declared a national emergency 222 days from Obama's birthday. Declared a pandemic 222 months from 9/11. First U.S. case 222 days from Trump's birthday. Huge number with Obama and Trump, the 222. Trump equals 222. I mean, Trump just won the election 222 days from his birthday. Trump Organization 222. I could go on and on, but we're going to try to keep this short, all right? I got to do better trying to cut myself off when I start getting too far. Yeah, of course, Wuhan coronavirus equals 222. Like Event 201, mandatory vaccination, COVID vaccines, vaccine cards. Or, what is it? Hold on. I'll give you a quick rundown. That's right. We should still be able to keep this under an hour, even with a little bit of sidetracking. All right, I'm going to fly through this, all right? Obama born 222 days after when most of the world celebrates Christmas Day. I don't think that's really Jesus' birthday, but anyways, very interesting, right? Obama's birthday 222 days after Christmas Day. The Antichrist, Barack Obama, Antichrist system, beast, they're all 222. Obama tested positive 222 days from his birthday. Wuhan coronavirus, Event 201, World Economic Forum, the Beast of Revelation, Antichrist system, the Antichrist, Barack Obama, mandatory vaccination, COVID vaccines, vaccine cards, as above, so below, order out of chaos, they're all 222. Declared a national emergency 222 days from Obama's birthday. Declared a pandemic 222 months from 9/11. First U.S. case 222 days from Trump's birthday. Donald John Trump Sr., Trump Organization, they're all 222. Trump moved Obama's portrait on day number 222 of the year. Obama's Hope portrait sold at 222 West Hubbard Street. Thank you, Gene. Obama was back at the White House on the day, leaving 222 days left in the year. You had Eli Crane call out Obama for the Affordable Care Act 222 days from his birthday, 2 years, 222 days from when he assumed office, and 222 days from the anniversary of the Affordable Care Act. And remember, Biden made changes to the Affordable Care Act with Obama behind him at 222. Some of these are, we just brought up the Francis Scott Key Bridge, right? So I showed you how that was all connected to Obama. Removal of Francis Scott Key Bridge wreckage rescheduled due to lightning. Remember, Barack means lightning. That was in the news 2 months and 22 days from Obama's birthday. So here's where we have the 222, which I'll get back to. I'm not even going to go into the Terminator connection or the Britney Grunt. Well, ay. See, this is what happens. I start bringing stuff up. Not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Go watch my Terminator decode. I'm not even going to bring up the Britney Griner stuff. This is too much. It's too much, man. Pretty much, you could pretty much watch every live stream. I tell you what, go watch my last live stream. And I covered everything with Terminator and Britney Griner and all that. I'm trying to do better, man. You guys know, once I bring up a number, I feel like for the new people, I got to go through it all. Look at this, 222-page lawsuit against the Trump organization. He took the stand 222 days from his birthday. So these are the Trump connections. Trump's sister died 222 days from her birthday. Ivana equals 222, died 222 days from her birthday. Trump won the election 222 days from his birthday. I already covered that. Some of these I already covered. Some are just too much to go over right now. All right, maybe we can get back to where we were. Okay. Actually, that wasn't even the right list. I need to type in Trump 222. Remember, he was just talking about the 222 shot in Chicago. Yeah, here's what I needed.
Two people over a short period of Chicago have been shot. 222 people over a short period of have been hit, have been wounded.
So he says 222 have been hit, have been wounded, 55 have been killed. Of course, Satan equals 55. Obama with the Chicago connection, where they have the 60606 zip code and the 60666 zip code. I won't go through all the 666 with Obama tonight. But he also brought up the mayor and the governor. He said this 222 days from the anniversary of the mayor assuming office, and the governor's full name is 222. But let's see, I covered most of this. Let's see if there's anything else with Trump. And don't worry, if you're coming in late, I'll do a very short recap, not including all this extra stuff. Of course, Squid Game with the big 222 connection. I covered all the Squid Game connections last time. Okay, I think we can get back to where we were. Okay. So, yeah. I brought up the Little Nas X connection. So, yeah, the guy, because remember, we're talking about the Satan shoes that came out 128 days from Obama's birthday. President Barack Obama 128, the Antichrist Barack Hussein Obama 128, right? So again, the guy who plays Obama in the video just happened to be born 222 months before Little Nas X, like the Antichrist Barack Obama. Satan shoes equals Antichrist, including the number 149. Obama born on the day, leaving 149 days left in the year. Beast System, Revelation, Antichrist, Lightning Bolt, they're all 149. Also born on the 216th day of the year, 6 times 6 times 6, 216. Now notice that the guy was born 999 weeks after Obama was born. Guess what the capacity of the ballroom is? 999 people. We'll get to that. Of course, you flip that upside down, it becomes 666. Yvonne, rapture is in the Bible. It's the timing that's debated. Some people think it's pre-tribulation. Some think it's mid-tribulation. Some think it's after the tribulation. But there's definitely a rapture. It's just the timing that's debated. 1 Thessalonians 4:16 through 17. Those of us who are alive and remain, so some of us are going to be alive and be part of this. We're going to be caught up in the clouds, harpazo, to meet the Lord in the air. So there is a rapture, but you're probably saying there's no pre-tribulation rapture, which, a lot of people would agree with, because Matthew 24 does say after the tribulation of those days, and then, who knows? I don't know when the rapture is. I just know, according to Scripture, there is a rapture. So, yeah, we don't want to discourage anyone. We got to be factual with, like, what I just said. We don't know when it is. So a lot of people think they have it figured out, but there is a rapture. Some of us are going to be alive and remain and going to be caught up in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. Unless you don't believe the Bible. All right. So, moving on. This stuff isn't really that important, but I feel like I got to go over it. The guy was also born 44 weeks from Obama's birthday. Of course, Little Nas X is 44, Lightning 44, Fallen Angel 44, Obama number 44. And this was the video with the Luke 10:18 Satan shoes, where he's playing basketball against Satan. That's the 666 pairs that sold for $1,018 a pair. The video J Christ that was released with the 19.2 million subs, like 192, like Obama is 192, Great Tribulation, Leave the World Behind 192, Obama's movie that ends in the Commodus bunker, Commodus dead in the year 192. And then, of course, you had Matthew Perry, a.k.a. Chandler Bing, Bing 192, died 666 months after his character's birthday, said he had a man crush on Obama, and died on Julia Roberts' birthday. Star of Leave the World Behind, her initials, JR, like 1018. Like the last episode of Friends is season 10, episode 18. It's called The Last One, which equals Power Outage. And the director of Obama's movie, his birthday, 10 months and 18 days from Obama's birthday. And then he's wearing the number 55 jersey. Little Nas X is wearing the number 55 jersey in that video. And the guy who plays Obama was born 55 days from Obama's birthday. Satan, Lightning, Fallen Angel, they're all 55. His full name is also 201, like that old serpent 201. The son of perdition, Barack Hussein Obama. 201, of course, we had Event 201 on 10/18. Preparing for Disease X was held 201 weeks after COVID declared a pandemic and 201 days from Obama's birthday. William Henry Gates, 201, the first celebrity with COVID. Tom Hanks was losing in gin rummy by 201 points. Right? The list goes on with all the 201s. And I do have a 201 in here for you. Here. Now, since we've gone this far with Little Nas X, let me show you what we just discovered recently. Long story short, this is the main part of it. There's more, though. But this is back in 2021. I can't believe I'm finally announcing this. My Little Bundle of Joy Montero was due September 17th, 2021. That's when the Montero album came out. And then down here he says, OMG, I'm trying not to cry. Thank you for the early birth baby shower gift at Barack Obama. So he thanks Barack Obama for the gift for Montero, right? Remember, Montero is the video where he's dancing on Satan. Don't forget Obama's slogan, yes, we can. Listen to it backwards. You'll hear, thank you, Satan. Don't forget when Obama announced he was running for president, he was 45 years, 6 months, 6 days old. Strong's 4566 is Satan. Obama equals dragon in 3 ciphers, but Obama's got the same 3 numbers as dragon. But long story short, guys, the Montero album that he's thanking Obama for the gift that came out September 17th, 2021, that was 10 months and 18 days from Obama's birthday. Are you kidding me? This is the same guy with the Luke 10:18 Satan shoes. How crazy. It was also 44 days from Obama's birthday, number 44. And there's more to this. Let me see. I don't know why I can't get the whole post to come up, but anyways, you see how Montero equals lightning. I've talked about this so many times, it's insane at this point. But Montero equals lightning, Little Nas X equals lightning. See how Montero Hill has that 846? Like tribulation, like the days of Noah, the fallen angels, the first towers hit at 846. The first tower hit at 846. George FLOYD with the knee on the neck for 8 minutes 46 seconds before they changed the time. I'd like to find the recent video I did on this. Let me see. And I'm sorry I got off track, but you guys know that's what happens over here. We get off track. I'm pretty sure I know where I can find it. Sorry guys, hold on. You know what? It might have been a little while back. Maybe this is God telling me we don't need to talk about Little Nas X anymore. You guys get it, right? Kind of like Charlie Kirk. It's kind of like, you know, maybe it's time to just move on. But well, now that I'm determined, hold on. I'm going to go right to my photos. And don't worry, right at the end of this ballroom decode, I have the three most important slides all together, so without all the in-between stuff. And then remember, we're going to talk about a few other things, but we should still be able to keep this under an hour, believe it or not. I say that now. Tell you what, man. You see the TMZ article that there's a chance that Trump might let Diddy go free? I hope that's not the case, man, because I do not want to talk about Diddy anymore. But if that happens, I'll probably have to cover it. But I really do not want to. I thought I was done with Diddy, and then the story came out that he wanted to do hard time at Fort Dix, and I had to cover that. All right. So I've covered most of this. Just a few more things. Montero, 35. Satan, 35. Didn't we just have the baseball player, Jesus Montero, dead at 35? The Mariner, right before the Mariners game, something like that. Montero Hill, 156, like tribulation. Like the Antichrist, Barack Obama, 666. They're all 156. Let me take a sip of water. See how he was born on April 9th, 49, like Antichrist in Revelation 49. The J. Christ video came out 6 months and 23 days from Obama's birthday. Barack Hussein Obama, 623, strong, 623, Apollyon, Satan. So, not only did the Satan shoes come out, right, back to where we were, not only did the Satan shoes come out 128 days from Obama's birthday, they came out 7 months and 26 days from Obama's birthday. Why does that matter? Because Satan shoes equals 726. Hello. Like Antichrist. Like Fallen Angel Obama, the King of Babylon, President Obama, Yes We Can, Affordable Care Act, Birtherism, Revelation, they're all 726. It can't all be a coincidence. Remember, when you hear Yes We Can backwards, you'll hear Thank You, Satan. By the way, pregnant, 726, like he's pregnant with Montero or whatever. Okay, you guys ready to move off that? I am. All right, we're done. No more Little Nas X. Okay, so now credit to Disambiguation144. He dropped in the comments. He said Ballroom Construction was 88. And Gematria3230 put Ballroom was 88. Of course, that's a big number with Trump, right? So we got Ballroom 88, Trump 88, Ballroom Construction 88. And you know, now I have to go over the 88s with Trump, right? So, of course, this list is fuzzy because I've uploaded it, 1,000 times. But, of course, we had Trump hitting the ear, allegedly, in Butler, 88 months after the Snoop Dogg video Lavender, where he's pointing the GUN at Trump. Remember that here? Butler, 88 months later. We had Thomas Crooks, the would-be assassin, with the birthday 9/20/03. That's the 8,888th prime number. Remember, it was also 666 days after Kimberly Cheadle assumed office, the director of the Secret Service that they tried to blame it on. And remember, that was on the 100... I'm going to have to let my dog out 1 second. That was on the 195th day of the year. Trump shooting 195, Corey Comparator 195, the guy in the crowd. And hold on, let me let the dog out. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, that 45 minutes ain't going to happen. Might be an hour, 45 minutes, but I tried. Yeah, who let the dogs out? Me. So, yeah. Butler, 195th day of the year, Trump shooting 195, Corey Comparator 195, the guy in the crowd. 666 days after Kimberly Cheadle assumed office, director of the Secret Service. 48 weeks before Trump's birthday. Trump shot 48, Donald Trump 48. We're going to talk more about the 48 with Andrea Bocelli singing Time to Say Goodbye to Trump. Let's see. Oh, shout out to Widow's Son. He found this one. Remember, they were using symbolism from Revelation 13:3 about the deadly head wound. If you take the whole verse, Revelation 13:3, it equals 1,086. And remember, Crooks was exactly 1,086 weeks old. Don't forget the full name of Obama. It's also 1,086. And, yeah. Anyways, let me keep going. So we're talking about the 88s with Trump, right? Because why are we here? Because Ballroom 88, Ballroom Construction 88, Trump 88. Butler, 88 months after the Snoop Dogg video Lavender. And Thomas Crooks had the birthday, 9/20/03, the 8,888th prime number, right? So you have Donnie Darko, set in the year 88, right? All the numbers on Donnie's arm add up to 88. Remember, Frank the Rabbit tells Donnie the world's going to end in 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. Add that up, that's 88. And the movie is set in the year 88. And the guy who plays Donald J. Donnie Darko is Jacob Benjamin Gyllenhaal, which equals 88. And in that movie, Frank the Rabbit is shot. And the guy who plays Frank the Rabbit is James Edward Duvall, which equals Charlie Kirk's full name. And he was born on September 10th. When was Charlie Kirk shot? September 10th, which is, of course, 88 days from Trump's birthday. Of course, Turning Point USA equals 88. The Republican Party, 88. Erica Kirk, born in 88. List goes on. Charles Kirkland, actor, from Snake Eyes, who gets shot in the neck, was 88 years old when Kirk got shot, allegedly. But yeah, long story short, Donnie Darko with all the 88s, the guy who plays Frank the Rabbit who gets shot, was born 88 days from Trump's birthday. That's wild, considering Frank is a perfect match to Donald in 3 ciphers, and Rabbit equals Trump. And remember the rabbit in I Pet Goat 2 with the bullet hole in its ear, like Trump? And that movie takes place in Middlesex, which equals 888, like Mar-a-Lago, like Donald J. Trump, 888, who made the calm before the storm statement 888 days before COVID was declared a pandemic, and he wrote The Art of the Deal, which is 888. And Back to the Future, they got to reach 88 miles per hour. And credit to Widow's Son and Decoding with Cody and whoever else was talking about this. Wasn't it like 8,800 days after 9/11, Casio put out that watch, that Back to the Future commercial, and Casio equal to 88, right? But Back to the Future, they got to reach 88 miles per hour. Biff represents Trump, right? Here's another 222 for you with Trump. Remember, he's carrying around Gray's Sports Almanac. That equals 222, like Trump. And yeah, 88 miles per hour Back to the Future. The raid on Mar-a-Lago, August 8th. 8-8, right? You see why I couldn't fit this in a 5-minute video and had to go live? It's just too much, man. Especially for the new people, right? The raid on Mar-a-Lago, August 8th, 8-8. Trump's number to text, 88022. And this one's really fuzzy. Hard to see. But here, I'll take it off the phone stand. Remember when Trump was putting up the 88-foot-tall flagpoles while talking about $88 billion in tariffs on the same day? All right. But wait, there's more. Don't forget Hulk Hogan in the HH-88, or Helena Hutchins, who was shot by Alec Baldwin, allegedly, who played Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live, and that was 201 days from his birthday, and Helena Hutchins is a perfect match to STAGED shooting, like Charlie Kirk's full name, equals that in 2 ciphers. Anyways, the hostages are back. Donald Trump says in Israel he ended 8 wars in 8 months. Wow. I can't believe it. Coming from Trump, huh? 8 wars in 8 months, which just happened to be said 8 years and 8 days after that calm before the storm statement. And Trump equals 88, obviously. And he just commuted the prison sentence of George Santos. That was in the news, 88 days from the birthday of Santos. And Santos just happens to equal 88, like Trump, in the same cipher. And I'm sure it's a coincidence that old Santos was born in 88, just like Erica Kirk. And then again, of course, Charlie Kirk, which, go watch all my Charlie Kirk videos. Don't see, if I got started on Charlie Kirk, we would be here for 3 hours. From Snake Eyes to Leave the World Behind. Not Leave the World Behind. What am I saying? Too much chili. Snake Eyes. She's My Kind of Crazy, right? So you got all the Snake Eyes connections with Charles Kirkland and the Neck and Tyler and Jezebel and so much there. All the Trump connections, the Taj Mahal. Then you got She's My Kind of Crazy, where she flies past the 910 and then leaves a comment, had a blast with Tyler shooting this. She just happened to leave that comment, we found out, on September 10th. Wow. Then you plus all the other stuff in that video. Then you had the video where Charlie Kirk is talking about public executions with a guy named Tyler, and Tyler brings up a specific execution that happened in France on September 10th. That's the true story. That was on episode number 33, by the way. Like all the 33s, like the 33-hour manhunt and the whole list of 100, not 100, but there's probably 33 different 33 connections. Not going to go through that because we'd be here 3 hours. We'd be here 33 hours if I did that. What else do we have? Oh, the Utah musician who put out a song called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31 before it happened, and the name of the band equals Tyler Robinson in multiple ciphers. We have that. Which one am I forgetting? She's My Kind of Crazy, Snake Eyes, the Utah musician, the public execution video. There's so much. All the 666s, all the 33s. It's a lot. Just go watch all the videos from like the last 40 days. Okay. Anyways, we're talking about the 88. Of course, Charlie Kirk allegedly died 88 days from Trump's birthday. Turning Point USA, 88. Joel Fabiani, who plays Charles Kirkland, who gets shot in the neck in Snake Eyes, he was 88 years old when Kirk got shot, allegedly. And remember, he was 66 years, 6 months old when, here, we won't get sidetracked, but we'll just do the 666 connection with Kirk. That's all we'll do, all right? I'll keep it short. Look, we already got the photos pulled up. We won't go through everything else. We'll just keep it to the 666. Remember, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, this doesn't have everything I need. Hold on. A couple other ones that won't even be on the list. Remember, Erica Kirk made Instagram post number 666 on 10/10 when Satan equals 10. Big tribute to Charlie Kirk that Fox News covered. Remember, Snake Eyes came out in 1998, which is 666 times 3. But here's a good list for you. So what I was going to say, shout out to Glenn G on X for this one. But not only was the Charles Kirkland actor 88 years old when Charlie Kirk got shot, allegedly, but he was 66 years, 6 months old when Tyler Robinson was born. He was 66 years, 6 months old when Tyler Robinson was born. And Tyler Robinson was born 666 months after the CI.A was founded. And Charlie Kirk allegedly died 6 years, 66 days after the Charlie Kirk show began. And if you go forward in time, 666 days after he died, allegedly, you would land on the anniversary of the Charlie Kirk show. That's a lot to be a coincidence. And then remember, Donald Trump brought up Rush Limbaugh at the memorial. Said he was a big Rush Limbaugh fan. And Charlie Kirk died allegedly 666 days after Rush Limbaugh died. And Charlie Kirk's memorial was 666 weeks after his birth, Charlie Kirk's birth. And his memorial was also 666 days after his birth. That's a lot. That's a lot. All right, where were we? So yeah, we're just bringing up the 88s. Now, the White House Ballroom was announced on July 31st, 2025. All right. And I found this part. All credit to God. I gave credit to the other guys, but yeah, credit to God and me on this one. Not that it matters, but I did find this one. The announcement of the ballroom. Look at this. 47. I love this one. 47 days from Trump's birthday. It was announced July 31st, 2025, right? That's 47 days from Trump's birthday. And look at this. Ballroom, 47. White House, 47. Trump, 47. Trump is number 47. Drop the mic. Some other 47s. I think president is 47. Republican 47. Government 47. Let me know if I'm missing any 47s. Yeah, the Tyler guards the Masonic door. Yep, to go with all the Masonry connections. Yeah, Gene Beast equals 47 and 88, right? Republican 47. Government 47. President 47. Trump 47. White House 47. Ballroom 47. That's a lot of 47s, man. But yeah, to go with all the Masonic connections, like a Tyler guards the door. Don't forget, what is it? Charlie Kirk has the 105, like Masonry 105. And then Charles Kirk 115 and 74, like Masonic 74. But you see how Charles Kirk is 115. Freemasons 115. Killing 115. Orem, Utah 115. Perfect match to Killing. In 3 ciphers, Masonic 115. Tyler Robinson 165, like Scottish Rite, like Lincoln Tyler. Like the birthdays of the guy who plays Charles Kirkland and Tyler Robinson, 165 days apart. Trump's birthday, 165th day of the year. Orem is 165 in Jewish. What was his last words? Counting or not counting gang violence, 165. Believe everything except your eyes, 165. The list goes on, man. And then, of course, Trump called Charlie Kirk a master builder, right? And Kirk's dad was the architect at Trump Tower, and Erica Kirk was in the pageants for Trump, and what's her name? Candace Owens said, I'm one of the Masons here at Turning Point USA. Again, go watch all my videos on Kirk. I've gone over this stuff so many times. I'm trying to get away from it. It's hard. But anyways, yeah, guys, it was announced 47 days from Trump's birthday. And yeah, Trump 47, Ballroom 47, White House 47. Right? Okay. Before I get to the 201s, also it was announced 2 months and 20 days. These are some things I found at the end. I didn't spend too much time on this. But the White House announced the Ballroom 2 months and 20 days from when demolition began. There's your 220, right? Donald John Trump, 220. You could also say, right, instead of 2 months and 20 days, you could also say 81 days. Of course, President Trump is 81. President Trump is also 72. And you see how construction began on the day, leaving 72 days left in the year, like Jesuit Order 72. But that stuff's not that important. But yeah, if you guys notice anything else, let me know. I don't know if I looked from... there's your 192. 192 days from Trump's inauguration. It was announced that big Obama number 192. Don't forget, Trump's second inauguration was 192 months after Obama's, to go with... here, I'll just show you that. But yeah, let's see. I think I looked at everything else. I don't think I looked at that. But that's not that important. But yeah, there's that 192 number. Or no, I'm looking at the inauguration. I need the announcement, 7:31. Yeah, there's your 47 like I talked about. Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, I'm not going to look it up. 192, big number with Obama, as you know. Trump's second inauguration. And now I got to look it up, so I'm correct. I believe Trump's second inauguration was 192 months after Obama's first inauguration. Sorry if you're hearing a crying baby. 3-year-old is coming to bed with mom. The garage is next to the bedroom, if you're wondering. We got dogs and babies. 4 babies, 3 dogs. There you go. Or no, that's not it. I might have to shut my door here in a minute. Where's the 192 I'm looking for? There it is. So yeah, I could go through all this list with the 192s, but I'm trying to save time. So yeah, Obama's inauguration, January 20th, 2009. Trump's second inauguration, January 20, 2025, 192 months apart. So we've talked about that. See how Obama's 192? Okay, where were we? I think we can close out some tabs because I'm not going to recap this stuff. It's not that important. These are just late fines. All right. So now, look at this. The Ballroom is formally the Donald J. Trump Ballroom at the White House. Well, look at that. The old 201. The old 201. Weren't we just talking about inauguration? When's that? 20/1? The 20th day of the first month? $201 days. Inauguration is 201 days after the nation's birthday. Remember we just talked about this number with Ace Frehley? Now I got to bring that up. I'm silly to think that I could ever do a live stream under an hour, for the record. So yeah, remind me, don't ever say we're going to get a live stream done in under an hour, and remind me, don't ever eat chili and bread before you go live. For the record, I didn't plan on going live. But it happened. I ate way too much food tonight. I'm like out of breath over here. But we're having fun. Hope you guys are having a great night. Here, let's look up Ace Frehley real quick. The Spaceman. We just talked about him with the 201. What did I eat? Just chili and garlic bread. But I had like 5 pieces of garlic bread and a bunch of chili. Then I had a slice of pizza. And yeah, I'm a mess right now. And I ate too much food yesterday too. I had like 5 spicy chicken patties. I normally don't eat this much. Yeah. I don't know what's happening. I'm blowing up. But yeah, starting next week, I'm getting back on track. We're going to try to do the keto/carnivore diet again. My weight fluctuates so much. I've lost 100 pounds before, then I gained most of it back. Then I lost 80 pounds. Gained that back. Now I don't even want to weigh myself right now, but I know I'm getting up there. Yeah, spicy is way better than regular, for sure. And then I dipped it in a little bit of Chick-fil-A sauce, which honestly, I think it's better just by itself, but you got to have mayonnaise. I do a toasted bun. You got to have I think the best way is just a toasted bun with a spicy chicken patty with mayonnaise, straight up like that. You know, you can try to put some ketchup or barbecue, but it's just best with the mayonnaise, for real. All right, guys, so since I'm bringing up the 201s, we just had the Spaceman from Kiss, right? So shout out to Glenn G on X. He found this part. Yeah, thanks, Gene. So the Spaceman was from Kiss. He was 6,660 days old the day of the fake moon landing. The full name of NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration 666, fake moon landing 666. And the fake moon landing was with Neil Alden Armstrong, 201. Apollo, 201. The fake moon landing on the 201st day of the year. And Cody found this part. He died in Morristown, New Jersey, where they have the 201 area code. And Gene Spice in the chat found this part, that when he died, he was 27,201 days old. So you got the 201 there. And then I found this part. Ace Frehley grew up on 201st Street. And to bring it all together with the fake moon landing, here's another 88. Ace Frehley equals 88. He died 88 days after the anniversary of the fake moon landing. Gematria 85 Derek found this part. Paul Daniel Ace Frehley, 893. He was 893 months old when he died. And Neil Armstrong died August 25th. He died 52 days from his death anniversary. Ace Frehley, 52. And who's got the birthday August 25th? It would be Gene Simmons. So he also died 52 days from Gene Simmons' birthday. See how Gene Simmons is 52, like Ace Frehley, 52. And since we're on the 201, I guess we can break out the old 201 list for y'all, since we're already going overtime. But yeah, that big 201, right? The Donald J. Trump Ballroom at the White House, 201. The Jesuit Order, 201. We had Event 201. The Pandemic Simulation with William Henry Gates, 201. We had Preparing for Disease X, another simulation, which was 201 weeks after COVID declared a pandemic and 201 days from Obama's birthday. The Son of Perdition, Barack Hussein Obama, 201. That Old Serpent, 201. Remember the first celebrity with COVID, Tom Hanks? He made that post with his Corona typewriter that he was losing in gin rummy by 201 points. We had the first Jesuit Pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, which equals 201. He lived in Suite 201 at the Domus Sancti Marte, 201. The Jesuit Order, 201. Catholic Pope, 201. Ignatius of Loyola, 201, the founder of the Jesuit Order. The Guidestones went down 201 days from the Pope's birthday, and the Pope died 201 days from the death anniversary of St. Francis of Assisi, who he got his name from. Of course, we had Squid Game, all connected to Obama. I won't get into it. Go watch my Squid Game video. But remember, in the first, after the first game of Squid Game, 201 players complete the first game. The host is not just player 1, not just 0-1, he's 0-0-1, like 201. For the record, Walter Elias Disney, 201. Walt Disney World, 201. The Queen died 201 days after testing positive, and the Queen tested positive 201 days from Obama's birthday, and the Queen died 20 weeks, 1 day after her birthday. Remember, we recently had the shooting near the CDC and Emory University at Address 201. The guy's motive, he was mad about the COVID jab. Anyways, that shooting near the CDC and Address 201, that was 201 days after Trump took office. Remember the founder of the CDC, Dr. Joseph Mountain, is 201. Remember when CDC Director Walensky tested positive 201 days from her birthday? Remember, all in a short period of time, we had Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan all die. You add up their 3 names, it equals 201, and you add up their 3 ages, 76, 71, 54, it equals 201. Malcolm Jamal Warner died on the 201st day of the year. There were 201 episodes of The Cosby Show. He's from Jersey City, New Jersey, where they have the 201 area code. Hulk Hogan had Hogan's Hangout 201. He was 201 centimeters tall. His first match, the USA, was 201 years old. Ozzy Osbourne equals 201. He bit the head off a bat on 20/1. Bat connected to COVID. Tested positive for COVID 201 days from Sharon's birthday. Ozzy and Sharon, born 201 weeks apart. And then Ronnie James Dio replaced Ozzy with Black Sabbath, and he died 201 days from Ozzy's birthday. So that's a lot. And you guys know, whenever I bring up Ozzy, I got to bring up the 666. Ozzy, American Idol. Might have to let the dogs back in. Anyways, see how Ozzy was on American Idol one time, right? Doing like a funny thing, or if you call that funny, whatever. Whatever. He went on American Idol, wore the number 666, right? The Prince of Darkness, that whole thing. So whenever I bring up Ozzy, I gotta bring this up. Let's see how long this takes to find. We will definitely get this done under 2 hours, though. Now that's got half of what I need, but it doesn't have everything. And let's just type in Ozzy. And guys, please hit that like button when you come in. Very much appreciated. See how when you add up their ages, it's 201. And when you add up their three names, it's 201. I think Decoding with Cody found that part. Gene says the official name of the logo, Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America 201, and their motto, the work of a nation, the center of intelligence 201. That's a good one, Gene. Hey, what is that? The official name on the logo. And their motto? Here. We'll get back to Ozzy in a second. I'll have to add that to the list. Okay, so yeah, what it says on the Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America, 201. All right. I'll have to leave that tab open so I remember. And the motto, too? Yeah, those are good ones. Gene, thank you. Whoop. Here, I'll just type in the work of a nation, the center of intelligence. The work of a nation, the center of intelligence. The work of a nation, the center of intelligence. Am I intelligent enough to spell intelligence without help? Intelligence. Well, it looks like 201 to me. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I got to add that to my list. So the motto and what's on the logo both equal 201. Fantastic. All right, back to the Aussie search. For the record, you know how we all started talking about Ozzy and the 201 when he died? Look, see my post from 2022 talking about Ozzy, the Bat Guy, and how it was 201 days from Sharon's birthday? Back then, I didn't even know that Ozzy and Sharon were born 201 weeks apart. But yeah, for the record, I've been talking about this stuff for a while. See, 2022. If I would have known back then, I would have added that to the list. Ozzy and Sharon, born 201 weeks apart. Oh, come on. One of these days, I got to move on from, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever move on from talking about Little Nas X and Ozzy and Charlie Kirk. Here's what I'm looking for. Because there's such undeniable connections. Like, the new people got to see this stuff, man. Okay. So, again, here's Ozzy wearing the number 666, right? Okay, well, what if I told you the Osbournes had a Satan podcast called The Satan Bilderberg Group and the Illuminati Invite Only podcast, September 26, 2023. Ozzy just happened to die 666 days later. How about that? And podcast equals 666. So does witchcraft, by the way. Right? Am I right on that? Don't forget Hogwarts equals 666. Wizarding 666. Sorceries 666. COVID declared a pandemic 666 days after the Cladex pandemic simulation. Vaccination equals 666. Harry Potter has a lightning bolt marked on his forehead, right? Like Luke 10:18. Hogwarts. Wizarding, like the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Sorceries, like vaccination, like COVID mandate, like WHO pandemic, like witchcraft. It's a lot to be a coincidence. And speaking of that, here, since we're here, oops, wrong one. Let's see if we can bring up Pegasus real quick. I forget who it was. My bad. But one of you guys let me know about this. The Pegasus, the exercise Pegasus pandemic preparedness exercise in the UK that was announced 66 months and 6 days after COVID declared a pandemic. And then, of course, Clade X. Here's Clade X. Here I am back in 2020 talking about this stuff. What if I told you from the Clade X pandemic exercise until the day COVID was declared a pandemic, 666 days. Yep. There you go. True statement. And then someone else told me this one, which is interesting. Here we can get rid of this. When did the Black Death end? 1353. But we don't know what month. So depending what month, right? One of the most fatal pandemics in human history. So it ended in 1353, right? $13.53, and then COVID was, pretty much all of 2020. But yeah, depending on, what month, because again, we don't know what month, but roughly from the end of the Black Death until COVID, which was all of 2020, 666 years. Isn't that wild? Okay, but anyways, witchcraft equals 666, right? And Ozzy, with the 666 on his shirt here, he just happened to die, allegedly. Who knows if he's really dead? 666 days after the Osborne Satan podcast. Podcast equals 666, like rockstar, like witchcraft. And he died 666 months after Black Sabbath's first single, Evil Woman. You put those two together, that's a lot to be a coincidence. But back to the Satan podcast, right? That was episode number 203 of the Osborne's podcast. Episode 203, right? Ozzy died on day number 203 of the year. And satanic ritual is 203. And if that's not enough connections to Satan, well, Satan equals 232. Ozzy equals 232. He died 232 days from his birthday. And he died 2 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days from the anniversary of the Church of Satan. 232. Like Ozzy, Satan, all that. Okay. Let's shut down Ozzy. We're going to keep that CI.A thing up there so I can add that to my list later. And get rid of the Black Death. And we'll leave up this calculator because we'll probably need it again. Maybe. All right, I'm hoping we can fly through the rest of this stuff. So you guys get the point about the 201? The Donald J. Trump Ballroom at the White House. 201. And like I said, the new White House Ballroom's capacity has been stated to be up to 999 people. Upside down 666, right? Okay, so I knew we would sidetrack a little bit. I didn't think it'd be that much, but so I put the key points at the end for you. We got the 88, right? Ballroom 88. If you're coming in just now, this is all you need to know before we get to the other stuff. Ballroom 88, Ballroom Construction 88, Trump 88, that big number with Trump. The ballroom was announced 47 days from Trump's birthday. Ballroom 47, White House 47, Trump 47. Trump is number 47. And then the most obvious part, the 128. Again, shout out to Gematria3230, who found most of this. Demolition began October 20th, 128 days from Trump's birthday. Right? Yeah, demolition began 128 days from Trump's birthday, Ballroom 128, White House State Ballroom 128, President Donald John Trump 128. All right, that's it for the first part. And for the record, October 20th, we already went through all the 222s with Obama, so I don't need to do it again. But I do believe, for the record, not that it's that important, but I do believe that was 2 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days from Obama's birthday. Mr. 222, right? The Antichrist, Barack Obama. 222, Antichrist system. 222, Beast 222. The Beast of Revelation 222. And of course, we tied in that 128 with Obama also. So, little fun fact for you there. Alrighty. So I think we're going to check out some other stuff. And then we'll scroll down and make sure we got it all. And that'll be that. All right, guys. So we had, we've been talking about the soon removal of Donald Trump for a long time. Me and Jurassic Liars, Garo and Franchot, and a couple other people. Garo, Jurassic Liars, was definitely the first one to talk about it, though. So credit to him. Again, all credit to God, ultimately. But yeah, a lot of us, started with Garo, but we've been looking for the soon removal of Donald Trump, right? And isn't it interesting that you would have Andrea Bocelli sing "Time to Say Goodbye" to Donald Trump at the White House? So he was there October 17th. That was 25 days from Andrea Bocelli's birthday. Let me make sure my comments are working here. Okay. All right. So he sang that to Trump October 17th. That was 25 days from his birthday, which is September 22nd, Andrea Bocelli. So 25 days from his birthday. Why does that matter? That he's singing "Time to Say Goodbye" to Trump. Death equals 25. Trump equals 25. RIP equals 25. We're in the year 25. And Trump says he's going to be back at the White House December 5th. That's going to be 25 weeks from Trump's birthday. And again, Trump and death are both 25. So I wound up having to make like a part 3. I actually made like 6 videos and deleted like 3 of them because I kept missing stuff, finding stuff, and then having to re-upload. You guys know me. When I miss something, I get so frustrated and kick myself. And anyways, better late than never, right? So this word impromptu was very big. I missed it in the first round, but Andrea Bocelli gives Trump impromptu Oval Office performance. So notice impromptu has the 141, Trump dead 141, Trump killed 141. And if you're wondering, I cover the E with a 3 just so I don't get a strike on Facebook. But if you actually type it out, Trump DEAD, it's 141. So don't let that confuse you. So impromptu, 141, Trump dead 141, Trump killed 141. Impromptu, 51, Trump dead 51, Trump killed 51. Serenaded 51. Impromptu 102, Trump dead 102. And that's about it. But look at that overlap with impromptu. Basically, impromptu equals Trump dead and Trump killed. Impromptu is also 48, like Trump shot 48 and Donald Trump 48. And remember, Butler, where Trump was shot, was 48 weeks before his birthday. I also missed this in part 1. I was kicking myself. Time to say goodbye, 79. Donald Trump shot, 79 in the same cipher. So check this out. Time to say goodbye actually equals Donald Trump shot in multiple ciphers. Let me show you that. And let me just make sure it wasn't more than the 2 here. Yeah, it was just the 2. But look at that. I wish I had that on the first video, because the first video actually got like 10,000 views, but it's all good. So my whole point was this was predicted programming for the Trump event. He's at the White House singing Time to Say Goodbye to Trump, right? And look at that. Time to say goodbye equals Donald Trump shot. Isn't that wild? But anyways, time to say goodbye, 79. Donald Trump shot, 79. Andrea Bocelli, 79. Murder, 79. Trump, 79 years old. Time to say goodbye, 200. Donald Trump shot, 200. Trump's birthday, the day leaving 200 days left in the year. So Andrea Bocelli was born September 22nd, 1958. So his birthday is 101 days from Trump's birthday. Like Andrea Bocelli, 101. Assassin, 101. We talked about that number with Charlie Kirk. Orem, Utah, 101, like Assassin. And then he sang to Trump 240 days before Trump's birthday. Trump assassinated is 240. Andrea Bocelli is also 240. So he said he's going to be back at the White House on December 5th. That's going to be 191 days from Trump's birthday. Donald Trump killed, 191. Assassination, 191. And he's going to be back at the White House on December 5th. That's going to be 74 days from Andrea Bocelli's birthday. Donald Trump killed, 74. Time to say goodbye, 74. Independence Day, 74, which we celebrate on 7/4. And killing is 74. Lucifer and Masonic, 74. Remember, 3 of the first 5 presidents died on 7/4. Sorry, guys. Here, give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta blow my nose. Hold on. All right, sorry guys. So I forget who found this part, but big shout out to them. They left this in the comments. They said when Andrea Bocelli sang "Time to Say Goodbye" to Trump, he was 3499 weeks old. Strong's 3499 is to put to death. So I thought that was a great addition there. So again, thank you to whoever put that in the comments. I forget who it was. Good night, Yvonne. Have a good night. And anyone else I missed who already left, have a good night. Not too much longer. And then we have the tree stand, or the hunting stand. FBI investigates hunting stand with sightline to Trump's Air Force One. So I kept that pretty simple. That was in the news October 19th, which was 127 days after Trump's birthday. Assassinate is 127. And then it was 238 days before Trump's birthday. Trump assassination, 238. So basically more predictive programming for the Trump event. All right, now Doug Martin. And here. I'll show you this. I'll have to scroll for a minute. But if you guys don't know, here, I'll show you something else. Joseph Acquaviva Buccaneers. I was one of the biggest Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans in history. I was such a big fan that the Buccaneers actually wrote an article about me. Oh, what do I have to accept the cookies? Here, let's see. Anyways, this is me. I'm not accepting any cookies or anything. But yeah, that's me, not the guy in the middle. I'm not that tan. But this is me here. And the Bucks wrote an article about me. And here's on Facebook too. Yeah, see, Tampa Bay Buccaneers post. Read Joseph Aquaviva's story. Right. But anyways, you guys can go check it out. Let me see that again. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joseph Acquaviva. Yeah, I guess to see my picture up there, I'd have to accept the cookies. But anyways, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing all that. Anyways, it's not important. Let's see what comes up here. Me. Yeah, here's a couple pictures that are in the article. This is me at the NFL draft in Nashville. I'm the guy with the glasses on. This is my wedding in New Orleans. We got married the day before the Buccaneers season opener, which is in New Orleans that year. That's me and my wife in the middle. For the record, there's a decoder out there that accuses me of being racist, which is hilarious because not only do I do shows with Franchot Pearson, who's a black man, but let's see. It's a little blurry, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black people at my wedding? Right. So, a little hard to be racist when you got 8 black people at your wedding. And those are, well, they were good friends, but anyways, once I lost all my friends, white, black, orange, purple. I lost all friends once I had my awakening. Most of them, but anyways, that's not important. Anyways, this is Mike Allstott, the A Train. There he is. I used to sell Buccaneers memorabilia before I did YouTube. So I painted this, hand painted, 6 foot tall Mike Allstott statue. That's his rookie season down here. Rookie season cleat and a game worn glove from Chicago. Anyways, I'm just trying to make the point because this decode is on Doug Martin, who I've actually met. Here's me again. That's me right there. Right? You guys want to see some crazy organic stuff? Here. And by the way, there is an organic side. I started seeing the number 222 everywhere before I ever knew what gematria was, and the world changed, all connected to the 222. I'll give you that list in a minute before we get to Doug Martin. But anyways, for the record, Tampa Bay Buccaneers equals so my name equals Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How crazy is that? And they wrote an article about me, and I was like the biggest Buccaneers fan ever. When I was living in my idolatry, I would literally be depressed for like days when the Buccaneers would lose. So thank God for waking me up. For the record, I do still watch the games, but I also expose the NFL and show that it's rigged and scripted and satanic, which I have an example. Not only Doug Martin, I have another example. But yeah, I do watch the games. I don't attend the games. And you might have saw a post I made yesterday. I did delete the post for a couple reasons, but I'm not going to mention any names. But there's a person in the truth community that put up some Halloween decorations, and I kind of took issue with that as a person who is in the truth community, that we're supposed to abstain from all appearance of evil and other reasons. Actually, I made a list. Hold on here. Something I'm thinking about doing this year. I haven't 100% committed to it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. Look, I already typed it out. These Bible verses. I got 1 Thessalonians 5:2, Romans 12:2, Ephesians 5:11, and 1 Corinthians 10:21. And I also have a bowl I'm going to put out. I'm not going to hand these out. I'm going to put a bowl out. But I got these gospel tracts. Right? Jesus changes everything. And then I have another stack. Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life. And there's stuff on the back too. But anyways, I'm not going to mention any names because I really do want to stay out of the drama. And that's pretty much the main reason why I deleted the post. But also, I guess you could say, if I'm being honest, I felt a little bit hypocritical because I did call the guy out for attending an NFL game, which happened to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. I guess he lives near me. But anyways, I called him out for attending the game, which I don't understand why a truther, number one, would be putting up Halloween decorations, which were, they're basically scary, evil-looking pumpkins, right? And he was saying how he, again, I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want any drama. But if you saw the post, you saw it. I made it on Facebook and on YouTube. But basically, he's saying he woke up, so he doesn't want to do the witches and the ghosts and all that stuff. But he thought it was okay to put the pumpkins. And if you look, they're like these evil, scary-looking pumpkins. And I kind of took issue with that. And I also mentioned how he's pushing the Satan's little season, which I don't agree with at all. I think we're in the end times right before Jesus comes. But also I called him out for attending an NFL game. And again, I don't understand as a truther why you would attend an NFL game when you know it's all rigged and satanic. For the record, I would never, not anymore. When I first had my awakening, I was a season ticket holder. I think I did finish out the season. I think I did go to the rest of the games, if I'm being honest. But I think that ended in 2020. Yeah. Yeah, it was 20 because that was with COVID. Anyways, long story short, I haven't been to a game in years. And I would never anymore go to a game in person or root for a team. But for the record, like I said, I do watch the games. And I guess you could say there is some level of entertainment there. But I'm not watching it getting excited like, oh, yeah, touchdown. Oh, like I just, I put it on because it's there. All right. And for the record, yeah, I don't want to be a hypocrite and be like, okay, well, I'm perfect and I don't even watch football. I do watch football for the record. I played it my whole life. But yeah, like I said, there's people that, they like Cody, for example. He exposes wrestling better than anyone, right? We know it's all rigged and scripted, obviously, but he exposes it at the same time. So I think as long as you're like exposing it and you're not cheering it on and you're not in idolatry, I think it's okay, you know. And some people will probably disagree with me on that, and that's totally fine. But anyways, before I get too off track, let me go ahead and read these Bible verses. Actually, you know what? We'll save that. We'll save that to the end because I have more stuff to say about Halloween since it's coming up. Let's stick with the football theme. So yeah, a little bit organic for you. Here, my name equals Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? I used to be a huge Buccaneers fan, right? And before I get to that, let me show you my vehicle. If you don't know, I drive a Buccaneers vehicle still. And you might be like, come on, Joe, that's like really hypocritical. Why would you do that? Well, I'll tell you why. If you're new here. So here's my house. We're in this garage. We're live from this garage right here. And this is my car. All right. Oh. Why am I not good at this thing? All right, long story short, it might be hard to see, but I have an X mark through the Buccaneers logo. All right, both sides, I spray painted it. It's like $1,000 wrap. I spray painted it, right? Now, why would I keep that on my car? Because I still live here. You can see it better this way, I think. Yeah, you can. Dude. I'm going to try it one more time. There we go. Whoa. There, not moving it. Okay, you can see the X mark better that way, right? So why do I still drive this car, which I really don't drive much because I really don't leave the house much. It's scary out there. I avoid going to the stores at all costs. But anyways, it's out in the driveway. Everyone who drives by sees it. And when I put out my bowl of gospel tracts, if I actually do that, it'll be behind the car. So they're going to read this and what I have written on that paper. So obviously a big red flag like that gets people's attention, right? Especially with the big X mark through it. So the reason I leave this on the car, because I have the writing on the windows. And what it says on the windows, it's faded now on these two, but it still has it on 1, 2, 3 windows. It says, Jesus is coming soon. COVID was declared a pandemic, March 11th, 2020, exactly 666 days after the Cladex pandemic simulation, May 15th, 2018, with the YouTube channel on the bottom. But most importantly, up at the top, Jesus is coming soon, right? Got that visible on 3 windows. And, yeah, long story short, I still drive a Buccaneers car, which is hilarious, but like I said, it's got the X mark through it, and it's got that on the back. Anyways, just felt like bringing that up. Another part of the organic side. But yeah, let me give you a little bit of... So you guys know the biggest number I talk about, the number 222, the channel name. The whole world changed according to that number. Well, like I said, I was seeing that number, 222, before I ever heard of COVID. Or before anyone ever heard of COVID and before anyone ever heard of gematria. Or before I ever heard of gematria, rather. But yeah, Daniel 2:22, he revealeth the deep and secret things. Acts 2:22, the only verse with the 3 words miracles, signs, and wonders. The Book of Life is 2:22. Jesus is the truth 2:22. You must be born again 2:22. Key to the universe 2:22. Key to the apocalypse 2:22. Jesus the Lion of Judah 2:22. Strong's 2:22. Flame of God, and the very first verse of the Bible, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That equals 2:22. So a little bit more organic synchronicity for you. Okay. So we can get rid of my car. We can get rid of this organic Buccaneers connection. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. We're going to keep the 201 for my list. Thank you, Gene Spiced. And we're going to keep that. Oh, I still need the Facebook because I want to bring up the picture of me and Doug Martin. So I want to show you guys that not only did I meet Doug Martin, but it was one of the most memorable experiences I ever had with a player because I gave him a gift and he was very excited about the gift. And I always remembered that. I've met, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say I want to say at least 50 Buccaneer players, but it's at least 30, 40. And a lot of big names. Warren Sapp, Jameis Winston, Mike Allstott, Dexter Jackson, the Super Bowl MVP, Mike Evans, Levante David, Martin Gramatica, the list goes on. Like, I went to a lot of signings. I was very involved. Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, Bruce Arians, the head coach, John Gruden. I was always a big John Gruden fan. But here, let me get to the picture with Doug Martin. We're going to have to go back a couple of years. But yeah, it's one of my profile pictures. Follow me on Facebook if you don't already. Yep, that was my nice beard I just had before it was gone. This is actually from years ago, but yeah, kind of looked like that. It's all gone now. Oh, here. You guys ever hear me tell you the story of how, like, if they really yelled at me to, like, wear a mask, I'd throw this on? I'd throw in the sheep mask. I got kicked out of the Save-A-Lot wearing this one time. I think this is 2020. Good times. That's my grandma, Sandy, that raised me from 13 to 18. There's my dad. They're both gone now, unfortunately. But I'll see them again soon. It's my wife. Actually, I think this event here, this is a Martin Gramatica event, the kicker from the Bucs Super Bowl. There we are at the Bucs game. Yeah, that's what it used to be like for Bucs fans, right? All right, look, there's me and Gruden. Guys, I'm telling you, I had like 300 Buccaneer bobbleheads. And this is the John Gruden Corona 3-foot tall bobblehead, or might have been 4-foot tall. I also had a 3. Did I? No, I never had the 3-foot Allstott, did I? See, they had a 4-foot Gruden and a 3-foot Gruden. I always wanted a 3-foot Allstott, but I never got it. Anyways, this is me and Gruden. And I met him a couple times, but he signed that for me. And you see my shirt. This is when they were talking about getting Gruden for coach. It says, Gruden, make Tampa Bay great again. Right? Me and my idolatry. Right? But there's me and Gruden. There's me being a total idolater. Right? I think that's the CEO or COO, Brian Ford. I don't know. I met the general manager, Jason Light. Look, this is me when I was a kid. I think this is my first Bucks game. My first Bucks game was the last game in the old Sombrero, the Buccaneers Stadium. So yep, I was born into it. So for people that are like, "Oh, you're controlled opposition, your name equals Tampa Bay Buccaneers." I didn't know that when I was a kid. You know? I guess you could come up with some story like my parents were Freemasons and I was born into it and this is my script, Me and Jameis Winston. See, that's me with Jason Light, the general manager, and Rondé Barber. Me and Mike Allstott. See, we used to wear all this ridiculous stuff to the games. Thank God for waking us up, right? We are at the tailgate. That's the old Bucks coach, Dirk Cutter. That's Jameis Winston behind me. Mr. Eda W. That's Mike Evans. Just, I guess, allegedly broke his collarbone. Me and the Super Bowl trophy. All right, look at me, such a racist I am, right? For the guy out there calling me a racist. Like, oh, yeah, that's what all the people say. I got black friends, so I'm not racist, right? I promise you I'm not. I do not care what color you are at all. By the way, I think Jesus had darker skin, much darker than mine. Shout out to Vero Beach football. I saw they're like ranked #1 in the state or something. But yeah, I played for Vero Beach football, tore my ACL and my and some other ligament, MCL, ACL, my senior year. That's the old garage, my old house. Look at this picture. This is back when I was a Donald Trump fan. See, I was deep in idolatry. Not only was I a NFL worshiper, I was a Donald Trump supporter. Not just a supporter. I had Trump bobbleheads, Trump autographs, Trump cardboard cutout. There it is. All right. I could keep going, but maybe we'll go a few more pictures. But so that's Doug Martin, the guy that just died at 36. So I gave him. Originally, I was going to have this signed. It's what it is. It's a Bucko Bruce, which is the old Buccaneers uniform, the throwback uniform. It was a Doug Martin Bucko Bruce. I think you lost me for a second. Let me repeat that in case you didn't hear me. This was an autograph signing that Doug Martin was doing. And this is a throwback Bucko Bruce Doug Martin bobblehead. And he had never seen it before. And he was like, oh man, I've never seen this before. This is so cool and all that, right? So instead of getting it signed, I actually gave it to him. And I ordered myself another one. But yeah, that's my little story with Doug Martin. I had intended to get the thing signed, but he was so excited about it because he had never seen it before, I actually gave it to him. So I think that's one of the few times, I don't know if I've ever done it another time. That might be the only time I've ever given a player a gift, and that was it. I don't know. There could have been another time, but I can't remember right now. So yeah, that's me and Doug Martin, and I gave him that as a gift because he had never seen it before. So, yep, crazy that I am decoding his death. And also, I'm not going to cover all this now. We also had Mike Williams, the former Buccaneer who died recently, and Vincent Jackson, former Buccaneer. And I met Vincent Jackson and at his restaurant in Tampa, and I wound up getting his game-worn cleats that he wore the day my son was born, and I have those autographed. I used to. I got rid of my Buck stuff. I do have one helmet left in the attic. It's like a $300 helmet, but let me shut my door. Hold on. We got babies crying. But yeah, it's autographed by Tony Dungy. I've also met him, but it says to Joseph. So I wasn't able, or to Joey, or to Joe, whatever it says. And yeah, I guess I could throw it in the trash, but you never know. You might need a helmet for could be a prep in some situation, I guess. But yeah, one thing I never got rid of, and I did wind up selling all my memorabilia, which I guess in a way I probably shouldn't have done. That was also early in my awakening. I probably should have threw it all in the trash because in a way I did lead to somebody else's idolatry by selling them memorabilia. So shame on me, but can't go back. But yeah, here, let's just see what else is in here. We'll get to Doug Martin. There we are at the Trop. There's Derek Brooks. See? Met him. I know most of you guys don't care about this stuff, which is fine. There's Jameis Winston again. There's me bothering Jameis Winston when he was eating at a restaurant. I was at the Tampa Mall, ran into him. Remember there was a whole thing with Jameis Winston and the crab legs? That's why I got this shirt. See with the crab claws there? Oops, don't want to show that. All right, I'm going too far. All right, let's get off that. All right, so you guys saw the picture with Doug Martin, right? All right. Here we go. Yeah, hopefully I don't get in trouble for showing that picture. Doug Martin, dead at 36. So he actually died on 10/18, but it was announced, right? It was announced on October 19th is when it was in the news. All right, so we're going to look at both dates. So if his death was announced on October 19th, that means it was in the news 280 days after his birthday. His full name is Douglas Matthew Barron Martin, which equals 280. All right. So his full name, Douglas Matthew Barron Martin, 280. It was in the news 280 days after his birthday. And a shout out to Decoding with Cody, who first helped me with the Skull and Bones connection. And then also, I think Gene Splice mentioned it. And I'm also going to give a shout out to Gematronator85 Derek, who had another great connection with Skull and Bones. So I don't know why I didn't think of it at first. But the two teams he played for, he only played for two teams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Oakland Raiders. And they both kind of have that Skull and Bones connection going on, right? So, of course, Skull and Bones, 322, right? So he died October 18th, which was 3 months and 22 days before the Super Bowl. 322, Skull and Bones, right? So Raiders and the Bucks got the Skull and Bones thing going on. Definitely the Bucks more so because it's an actual skull, right? The Raiders do have a head, but it's not a skull. I guess there's a skull under there, but you know what I'm saying here with this. So he died 3 months and 22 days before the Super Bowl. That's your 322, right? I mean, what are the odds? The guy from the Skull and Bones team would die 3 months and 22 days before the Super Bowl, and he also died 41 days after the Buccaneers started the season, and Skull and Bones equals 41. So those are two big actually three. The logo, the 41, and the 322, right? Those are already three big connections with Skull and Bones. Well, look what Derek found. And I wrote here, credit to Gematria85, Derek. So he really brought it all together. Former NFL player Doug Martin, 36, died after brief struggle with police while being detained. Well, look at that. Brief struggle is a perfect match to Skull and Bones, including the 76, right? A brief struggle equals Skull and Bones and 3 ciphers. And why does the 76 matter with the Buccaneers? Well, Buccaneers first season. The Buccaneers' first season was 76. All right, so the Skull and Bones team came into the league in 76. You remember the Georgia Guidestones that went down on 7-6? Skull and Bones equals 76, built under the alias R.C. Christian, which equals 76, the day that George W. Bush, member of Skull and Bones, turned 76 years old. When did the Georgia Guidestones open? On 3/22, March 22nd, okay? So there's a connection between the 3/22 and the 76. That's my point. So we already talked about the 3/22, right? How he died 3 months and 22 days before the Super Bowl. Well, as Derek pointed out, National Fraternal Order of Police equals 3/22. Right? He died after a brief struggle with police. Brief struggle equals Skull and Bones in 3 ciphers. National Fraternal Order of Police 3/22. And former NFL running back Doug Martin finished his career with 1,322 rushing attempts. 1,322 rushing attempts. And brief struggle equals Brotherhood of Death. And Brotherhood of Death is Skull and Bones. And I believe he also said the Lions picked up win number 611. Let's see. How many wins? I don't know if that was regular season or playoffs, but how many wins do the Lions have all time? So I'm not sure about that part. I don't know if this is updated. Let's see. Let's do Stat Muse. But yeah, he mentioned the something about the Lions because of course the Bucs just played the Lions and they lost to the Lions. Let's see. Lions all-time wins. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Google was updated yet, but yeah, StatMuse knows what's up. So yeah, Derek was correct. The Lions picked up win number 611 all-time against the Buccaneers right after the death of Doug Martin. And again, brief struggle, 611, Brotherhood of Death, 611. And I didn't even have the Skull and Bones connection in my video, so you're seeing it now. By the way, y'all should check the community post because I post a lot there pretty much all day, every day. Same with Facebook. So, you know what's crazy? I said this was not going to be a 3-hour live stream, and we're getting close. But anyways, yeah, 41 days after the Bucs started the season, Skull and Bones 41. 3 months and 22 days before the Super Bowl, the Bucs, the Skull and Bones team, brief struggle equals Skull and Bones in 3 ciphers. National Fraternal Order of Police 322. He had 1,322 rushing attempts, and brief struggle equals Brotherhood of Death, the number 611, and the Lions picked up win 611 all time against the Bucs right after Doug Martin died. That is a lot to be a coincidence. So his death was announced 86 days before his birthday. Of course, to 86 someone means to get rid of them. Human sacrifice 86, blood sacrifice 86. He played in college for the Boise State Broncos. Broncos is also 86. His real name, Douglas Martin, 154, like ritual sacrifice 154. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 170 and 62, like sacrifice 170 and 62. Buccaneers also has that 62. His death was announced on the day, leaving 73 days left in the year. Sacrifice 73, ritual sacrifice 73, which means his death was actually on the day, leaving 74 days left in the year. Like killing is 74, right? But like I said, he died on 10/18. It was announced on 10/19. But you see how 10/18 has the 74 days left in the year, like killing, and then it does have the 73 date numerology, like sacrifice and ritual sacrifice. And it was announced on 10/19. 73 days left in the year, 74 date numerology, and we'll get to that part in a second. His death was announced 46 days after the NFL season began, and of course, sacrifice is 46. And his death was announced on a day with 74 and 38 date numerology, like killing is 74, 38, murder, death, killing, RIP, they're all 38. Murder by numbers movie poster, the E changed to a 3, the B changed to an 8. Notice Raiders also has the 115, like killing, and Boise State is also 115. Let me see. Let me check his Wikipedia real quick. I thought I heard Zach mention something about 115. Let me just check. Might have been his time of death. I'm not sure. There's probably even more. I'm sure we could, find all kinds of stuff, but you guys get the point. That's too much to be a coincidence, man. Yeah. I don't see that, but anyways, let's keep going. He also played in college for Boise State, which has the 34, like murder 34. And his death was announced 42 days after the Bucs started the season. Martin has that 42, like homicide 42. And then Tampa Bay does have that 79, like murder 79. And then also he died on 10/18, right? Luke 10:18, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. So the verse about Satan, Luke 10:18. And not only does Doug Martin have the 122 and the 50 like satanic, but he died at 36 years old. The 36 triangular number is 666. Of course, 36 is 666. That's like Skynet, which now I got to bring it up, right? I wasn't going to bring it up earlier. Now we're going to bring it up. For the record, don't let me ever say a live stream is going to be under 3 hours. Just assume. Just don't believe me, I guess, if I ever say that again. It's going to be 3 hours every time. Here I am like, oh, we should be out of here in about 45 minutes. Yeah, right. I should know better. It's never short. Since we're talking about the 36, let's bring this up real quick. Hey, Brandon, how you doing? Much love, everyone in the chat. Shout out to Robert Fink for bringing this to my attention. Robert Fink on Facebook. So, speaking of the 36 triangular number, Terminator, right? You know about Skynet AI, and all that. So in the movie Terminator, Skynet went online on Obama's birthday, August 4th, 1997. And that was Obama's 36th birthday. So that's why I brought it up, like Doug Martin 36. and the 36 triangular number is 666, right? Well, if you think that's a coincidence, the Terminator movie came out October 26, 1984. 666 weeks before Skynet went online on Obama's birthday. And I'm not going to go through the whole list of 666 tonight with Obama. Watch the last live stream. We went through it all. But anyways, on top of that, not only did they go online on Obama's birthday, which is 8/4, but the movie came out in 84. The movie came out 84 days from Obama's birthday. And the movie came out 84 days after Obama was born. And Obama equals 84. Born on 8/4. That's a lot. Skynet equals Barack Obama. Movie came out 2 months and 22 days from Obama's birthday. The old 222. The Antichrist Barack Obama. Skynet went online on Obama's birthday in 97 when it passed the United States Congress. Obama joined the Illinois State Senate in 97. And then Joe Morton equals 44. He's got an Obama shirt on, by the way, underneath that writing. And he's the guy who plays Dr. Miles Bennett Dyson, the guy who invented Skynet. The actor just happens to have the Luke 1018 birthday. All the 1018 connections with Obama. Right? Luke 1018, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Barack means lightning. Bomb of the heights. We covered that a little bit earlier with Little Nas X, but there's a lot more. With Brittany Griner with the 1018 birthday, found guilty and sentenced on Obama's birthday, and a whole bunch of other connections. Barack Obama jokes about Terminator-style war with robots. There he is with the Terminator. Oh, by the way, I think Terminator Barack Obama was also 84. And then, remember, he said, I'll be back. The next time I'm back, I may not be wearing a suit. Of course, Terminator says, I'll be back. So, anyways, had to bring that up because we were just talking about the 36 triangular number with the Terminator thing. But, yep. Now, for a little throwback, I did a decode on this way back when, and I wasn't the first one to point it out. Might have been Zach or somebody affiliated with him, but this is actually old TikTok when I was doing my TikTok stuff. I don't do that anymore. Fun fact, because on TikTok you can actually pay to promote your videos. I spent over $1,000 paying TikTok to promote my videos so I could try to build up the YouTube channel just for them to delete my channels like multiple times. Anyways, this is a TikTok video I used to do. You can tell by the little TikTok thing down there. Long story short, if you didn't know this is a fun fact for your friends and family. Long story short, back in 2019, on an episode of Project Runway, I'll just read it. Viewed tens of thousands of times, a viral clip of fashion reality show Project Runway shows an outfit with a face mask designed by a contestant named Covid Kapoor. Okay, so number one, let me read this part too. Kapoor's design ended up being a red plaid suit with an accompanying face mask, which of course wouldn't be out of place in 2020. Even more hilarious, the judges deemed the look sick. So they told COVID, your look is sick. Get it? So his name is COVID. He's wearing a mask. This is in 2019. This is before COVID, right? He's wearing a mask. His name is COVID. They told him he looks sick. Okay? But when you know gematria, you know it can't be a coincidence because Covid Kapoor has that big 56. All in the same cipher. Coronavirus, COVID vaccine, Society of Jesus, that's the Jesuits, Church of Satan, All Seeing Eye, Mind Control, Anthony Fauci, Fauci Ouchie, Masonic Ritual, they're all 56. Don't forget toilet paper, also 56. Remember how everyone ran out of toilet paper? Freemasons is also 56, but that's in a different cipher. But anyways, that's a lot to be a coincidence. Now, just for the record, I don't know if I looked up Project Runway or not. Let's just see if that has anything that stands out. I'm sure there's more to it, but you get the point, right? Covid Kapoor with the 56 with the face mask, and his mask looks sick in 2019. Yeah, I don't see much on that, so we'll get rid of that. Okay. We can get rid of Terminator. We can get rid of that. So, like I said, I do watch the NFL, but I also, like I said, I don't cheer. I don't, I'm not in idolatry. I'm not in any of that. And I expose it. So, on top of the Doug Martin decode, I did another decode this week on the Broncos putting up the 33 points in the fourth quarter. All right. You might have heard about this. The Broncos were way down, right? I think they were down by 19 maybe. But I think the final score, what was it, 33-32? Broncos, Giants. Yeah, 33-32. So, just to show you how rigged this stuff is, during that game where the Broncos put up 33 points in the fourth quarter, that was the game where they were honoring Demaryius Thomas, who passed away at the age of 33. Okay? Also, the game-winning drive, it was 33 seconds. It was 4 plays, 33 seconds, 1 game-winning field goal. This drive capped off a 33-point fourth quarter for the Denver Broncos. So you got 33 seconds on the drive, 33 points scored. They're honoring the guy who died at the age of 33, and they did this against New York, which equals 33. Of course, masonry equals 33, the highest degree of masonry, the 33rd. The highest degree of the Scottish Rite, the 33rd degree. Now, let me just make sure I haven't done a decode on Demaryius Thomas. I might have. See if anything stands out. Hold on. Hey, Robert. Good to see you. Yeah, y'all subscribe to Blaze Fink in the chat. What am I looking up? Thomas Broncos. Oh, there you go. I did a decode on this December 10th, 2021. Oh, wow. That's a lot of slides. I'll just skim through this quickly. Looks like I connected it to Obama. Let's see. What date was this on? I have no idea what's in here for the record. Here, when did he die? Demaryius Thomas? Did he die on Christmas Day? No. He was born on Christmas Day. That means his birthday... I probably didn't even put that in there. Maybe I did. His birthday and Obama's birthday are 222 days apart. Right? Let's look it up. 12/25/87. (12/25/1987). Obama 8/4/1961. So we'll go up to 86. Must have been a leap year involved. So normally their birthdays would be 222 days apart. But not then. It must have been a leap year involved or something. Because you see, Obama's birthday, 1961. If we do 12/25/1960, yeah, it's 222 days. So that's probably why I didn't include that. So, yeah, was that a normal year? 87 or 88? Last 20 leap years. Yeah, 88. That's why. So 88 was a leap year. That's why. Okay. Anyways, this is not that important. Let's just see what I found on Demarius Thomas connecting it to Obama, I guess. I don't even know what's in here. And why am I connecting it to the number 62? Revelation 6:2. And I saw and behold a white horse. Because the Broncos Stadium was where Obama gave his speech, right? And, all right, so why am I connecting it to the 62? Oh, his birthday? I guess his birthday was a day with 62, date numerology, Revelation 6:2 about a white horse, like a bronco. Okay. And then Revelation 8:8. I don't even know, honestly. This is in my early decoding days, for the record. I've gotten a lot better since then. Yeah, I remember that year Tebow passed for 316 yards, averaged 31.6 yards per game. CBS rating peaked at 31.6, John 3:16. I think I'm going the wrong way. Hold on. I'm not going to spend much more time on this. I think Demarius Thomas had the 80-yard touchdown pass from Tebow. Satan 80, the Beast 80. Yeah. To be honest, this doesn't look like a very good decode. This looks like some amateur work here. But like I said, this was years ago. Thomas has the 32 like Broncos, like Obama. Why didn't I include Barack Obama 32? Yeah, this is not a good decode. 22 days left in the year. Thomas died. Dead, 22. Yeah, this is not a good decode at all. Well, that part's good. Demarius Thomas equals 88. He wore the number 88. Yeah, I shouldn't have even showed this. This is a horrible decode. I mean, the 33 is pretty obvious, right? Yeah, the 2008 DNC with the white horse, Obama. Yeah. Okay, that could be one of the worst decodes I've ever done. Don't pay any attention to what I just showed you there. Sorry about that. Yeah. That was horrible. Anyways, I think this part here is much better. Demarius Thomas, he died at the age of 33, okay? He's the guy that they were honoring for that game. The game where they put up the 33 points in the fourth quarter with the 33-second drive against New York, which equals 33. All right. Well, I hate to end on that note because that was some. When was that? 2021? Yeah, 2021. Yikes. That was horrible. 10 seasons. Satan equals 10. Oh, look at this. Maybe not so crazy. Was this not part of my decode? On July 13th, 2015, President Barack Obama commuted his mother's sentence. She was released at midnight. Okay, that's a direct connection to Obama. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't as bad as I think. I'm sure there's a connection there if I wanted to run all the dates, but it's so long ago. It's long done, but yeah, look right there. President Barack Obama commuted his mother's sentence. I didn't see that in the decode at all. What are the odds? On She was released at midnight on November 11th, 2015, and saw her son play football for the first time January 17th, 2016. On August 2nd, 2016, Obama commuted the sentence of Thomas's grandmother. Okay, so looks like there is a connection between Demaryius Thomas and Barack Obama. All right. Well, I'm glad I showed that. I feel a little bit better. It probably was a better decode back then when I knew what I was talking about. Honestly, I'm looking at half these photos and I'm trying to remember what was I even saying. How did he die? And maybe I'll give it another look. Hold on. On December 9th, 2021, which, you know what? I need to run that from Obama's birthday. Thomas was discovered unconscious at his residence in Roswell, Georgia, later pronounced at the age of 33. So he died 12/9/2021. Hey, Maggie. Here, let me see who else I missed. Maggie and Snake Eyes, how you doing? 8-4. Well, you could say a couple things here. You could say 18 weeks one day from Obama's birthday, like 181, like Barack Hussein Obama II is 181 and Barack Obama is 181. And you could say 128 days, like President Barack Obama 128. I believe, what was it, the Antichrist, Barack Hussein Obama 128. And then going the other way, you could say 34 weeks, murder equals 34 from Obama's birthday. And you could say 7 months and 26 days. Like Antichrist, 726. President Obama, 726. Revelation, 726. The list goes on. So yeah, there's probably a lot more I could say. Let's just make sure there ain't nothing else. Let's make sure I didn't do another decode somewhere on Demaryius Thomas. But yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see that Obama connection from the Wikipedia in my decode. Okay, let's see. Thomas, Broncos. No, let's do Thomas Obama. And then we'll do Broncos Obama, and then we'll move on. Here's Tom Brady. We won't get into that. Nah, we'll be here too long. You know, I got to remember, some of you guys have been watching me for 5 years. Some of you guys probably know a lot of this stuff. All right, let's just type in Obama Broncos. There's a whole 2-2-2 connection with Brady. Denver 32, Broncos 32, Barack Obama 32, Obama 32, yes we can 32. Yeah. Here, let me go back to that Tom Brady. Let's just make sure there ain't nothing crazy in there. I'm pretty sure Brady got win number 222 as a Buccaneer. Remember that Super Bowl with the Bucs, the 201 yards, the COVID Super Bowl? Here. Which, you know, against the Chiefs, and I'm not going to get into it, but remember in Super Bowl 54, Andy Reid picked up his 222nd win all time in a Super Bowl on February 2nd, which was equals 222. It was 2-2 2020. J-Lo did halftime, J-Lo 222. And it was 222 weeks after the Kansas City Royals won the World Series, the Kansas City Chiefs won. And then this Super Bowl, all the 222s with the Eagles connected to the plane crashes, like the plane crash in Philadelphia. It's too much to get into, but long story short, that Super Bowl with the I need Brady 222. Because remember, the Bucs played the Chiefs the year after the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. Andy Reid against the Eagles, that was game number 222 with the Chiefs against his former team. And if you add up the Eagles' 5 Super Bowls they've been in, it equals 222. And if you add up the 4 playoff scores from that season, it was 222. And I've been over that stuff so many times. Go watch my Super Bowl videos. But yeah, here's the other big thing, right? I'm the 222 guy and I'm the Buccaneers fan, former, right? Yeah, well, Tom Brady came out of retirement 222 days from his birthday, right? And look at this. Tom Brady picked up win number 222 as a Buccaneer. His first season with the Bucs, which was the coronavirus season, which was all about the 222. Tom Brady now has 222 regular season wins. Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Bucs, 222. Buccaneers Super Bowl, 222. Look at the 222 on Brady. This is the Buccaneers Super Bowl. That's where, that's, you know, the one where he threw up the 201 yards. Yeah. Anyways. For the record, more exposing of the NFL. This is the Bucs, right? This is the Bucs owner, Joel Glazer, 666. This is their head coach when they won the Super Bowl, Bruce Arians, 666. This is their general manager, Jason Light, 666. And they beat the Chiefs 31-9, like Lucifer is 319. Right? Anyways, that's the game where Brady had 201 yards. I don't want to get into all of it. We got to get out of here. All right, let me shut this down. Close that, close that. We can close that. All right. I'm not completely done, but if anybody wants to support the channel, here's how you can do so. Any support, very much appreciated. This is my currently my full-time job still. That's up in the air day by day, one day at a time. But for now, this is still my full-time job. I'm not monetized. And yeah, I got PayPal, Zelle, Cash App, Venmo. You can also mail something to my home address. If anybody wants to support, very much appreciated. All right, let's scroll down the old Facebook here. Go over a couple Bible verses. Actually, before we do that, for the people who are running real late, like Maggie, I'll give you just the quick key points on the ballroom. A couple slides here, because that's what the topic of the video is. The Donald J. Trump Ballroom at the White House, the formal name 201, like the Jesuit order, holds 999 people. You're upside down 666. Ballroom 88, Ballroom Construction 88, Trump 88, that big number. Let me take a sip of water. So the ballroom was announced July 31st, 2025. Let me look something up there. Yeah, you also got the, hey, I did have 47 date numerology and the old 153, like the Illuminati and Jesuit order. But it does have the 47 date numerology, which is the number we're talking about, because it was announced 47 days from Trump's birthday. And that matters because Ballroom is 47 and White House is 47 and Trump equals 47 and Trump's number 47 and Republicans 47 and President's 47 and government's 47 and the whole list. But yeah, it was announced the Ballroom, which equals 47 at the White House, 47 like Trump 47, who is number 47. Just happened to be announced 47 days from Trump's birthday. And then the demolition began 128 days from 128 days from Trump's birthday. Ballroom 128, White House State Ballroom 128, President Donald John Trump 128. Okay, now let's scroll the old Facebook, go over a couple scriptures, and make sure we got everything. And then we'll wrap it up. We will be under 3 hours. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Amen. I'm feeling that lately. I don't know about you. Seems like the more you know, the sadder it gets. Somebody said, oh, I kind of regret being awake or something like that. I'm like, nah, I definitely don't regret being awake / born again. I'm glad I took the red pill, but it definitely is not fun knowing what we know in these end times, right? A rubber band can only stretch so far before it snaps, and it's about to snap. Jesus is coming. Jesus said, there is none good but one, that is God. Matthew 19:17. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23. Except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish. Luke 13:5. So repent and believe the gospel. So 1 Thessalonians 5:22, abstain from all appearance of evil. For anybody considering Halloween, I would reconsider. Don't do it. All right? Oh, no, I got a stain on my sign here. I guess that don't matter. But yeah, got 1 Thessalonians 5:22. I got a few more written here. Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Ephesians 5:11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. And 1 Corinthians 10:21, ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. So it's one thing if you want to, hand out gospel tracts. I would just keep it to gospel tracts. I wouldn't do candy or any other toys or anything, trinkets, whatever. That's up to you. I personally would feel convicted handing out anything but Bible tracts. And like I said, if I do put them in a bowl, that'll be it. It'll have these Bible verses with it. It'll be in front of my car, which has the warnings, or behind my car, and it'll be 2 choices of Bible tracts in the bowl. And that'll be it. I'm not going to hand them out or anything. And hopefully, whatever I decide to do is, the Lord is happy with that. And even if I decide just not to hand out anything, which I don't know why I wouldn't hand them out. I don't see any reason why I'm going to change my mind. But either way, that car will be out there. That's for sure. And everybody who's trick-or-treating will be reading that. Halloween, the night when the majority of so-called Christians conform to the world. Romans 12:2. I just read that. We went over COVID Kapoor. By the way, make sure you subscribe to the backup channel. Only a matter of time before something happens to this channel. I'm on channel number 14 for the record. And remember, I posted this to the community section. So if you don't have the backup channel yet, go to the community section, click the link. It's also in the description of every video. But yeah, go subscribe to the backup channel if you're not there. Pastor Hank, God Soldiers Watchman, he was out there street preaching. I shared that. Also on YouTube. Check him out. Take heed, the rapture draws near. When the rapture comes, destruction follows. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't believe in the rapture, or people want to argue over the timing of the rapture. But there is a rapture. 1 Thessalonians 4:16 through 17, we're going to be caught up. Those of us who are alive and remain, so some of us will be part of this. We're going to be caught up, harpazo, in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. So whether you believe that's pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, or after the tribulation, like Matthew 24 does say, after the tribulation of those days, and like I've argued with some people, I'm not a complete expert on anything, but it says tribulation of those days. I don't know if that means we have to go through some tribulation or the whole great tribulation, or if it's, after the tribulation but before God's wrath. What's the other verse? There's Matthew 24:40. Hold on. Matthew 24:40. 2 would be in a field, 1 would be taken, 1 would be left. What's the other one? Revelation 3:10. I will keep you from the hour of trial. Revelation 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them which dwell upon the earth. Matthew 24:40. Then 2 shall be in the field, the 1 shall be taken, and the other left. 1 Thessalonians 4:16 through 17. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Luke 21:36. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and stand before the Son of Man. Titus 2:13. Looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great God and our Savior Jesus Christ. John 14:2 through 3. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, ye may be also. And then 1 Corinthians 15:51 through 52. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. So I do believe in a rapture. It's all about the timing, and that will be debated forever. But I cannot wait to get that glorious body in the blink of an eye. Seek God now, don't be left behind. I personally believe in kind of like a mid-tribulation thing. Definitely before God's wrath, because we're not appointed to wrath. I should add that to my list. But yeah. I think it's possible we're in the tribulation now. People also disagree with that. I don't think anybody knows for sure, man. A lot of us have our guesses, and, Julie says, my sheep hear my voice. Yep. The birth pangs are in overdrive. Time is almost gone. Repent now. Get right with Jesus Christ. The clock is about to strike midnight. Don't wait another heartbeat. Major anomaly as interstellar object was it 3i Atlas measured to be over 33 billion tons? The old 33. I don't believe anything about that. We're not waiting for the end times, we're living in them. The clock didn't start ticking, it's almost done. Every headline screams prophecy. Every compromise feels like conditioning. The question isn't when he's coming, it's are you ready when he does. The rapture is coming for those who eagerly wait for him. And eagerly wait for him is mentioned in Hebrews 9:28. One will be taken, the other left. Matthew 24:40. My buddy James, I thought this was a good post. He said, take this very short window of opportunity to get your own houses completely in absolute order. That is all. Here's Andrea Bocelli. All right, we might be caught up, y'all. Jesus is coming soon. That's the most important thing I can tell you. We might be all caught up. We talked about the hunting stand. Talked about Doug Martin, Andrea Bocelli, the Ballroom. Yep, and that was the last live right there. Okay, guys. I think that is it. Here, give me 1 second. I'll be right back again. Hold on. Howdy, I'm back. All right, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much what I got for you. I did not expect to be live 3 hours again. Sorry about that. You guys know what happens. I was planning on 45 minutes, so yeah, I went a little bit over by about 2 hours. But let me check in with the chat. Much love, unknown user, Blaze, Julie. I don't know how to say your name, but it ends with dinosaur. I personally don't believe in dinosaurs. Fun fact. I think they're made up, but that's just me. Hey, Belga, Maggie, Julie, anybody else? If anybody has anything to add, speak now, or I'll catch you on the next one. Let me make sure there ain't nothing else here to talk about. Anybody have anything else on the Ballroom? Let me know. God bless you too, unknown user, and everybody else in the chat. Thank you, unknown user. Good night, Maggie. Just checking something real quick, guys. Want to make sure we don't miss anything before we wrap it up here. All right, if I did miss anything, guys, I'll leave it in the comments or make a community post. Or you never know. Do a short part 2. Seems like anytime I try to do a video, probably because I try to get things out so quick, I end up having to do a part 2 or a part 3. But I try to avoid that, but, you know. Just like I try to avoid going live for 3 hours. Because I know most people, they'll see a 3-hour live stream and they won't want to click on it, but it happens. But yeah, finally shaved off that crazy beard I had going on. At least I look a little less homeless. So I got that going for me. Good night, Todd, Belga. And guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. Very much appreciated. If you haven't already. Thank you to the 173 that already did. You guys are awesome. And again, shout out to Gematria3230 and Disambiguation144 who helped inspire this decode tonight. Saw their comments under Zach's video. All right, guys, if there's anything else, it's whatever. I think we proved the point. Have you ever decoded Aussie? Well, David, yes, we actually talked about Aussie in this decode. All the 201s and the 666 with Aussie. And there's more to it. So I think I got like, I don't know, 3 to 5 videos on just Aussie. So, or they're like Malcolm Jamal Warner, Hulk Hogan, and Aussie. I have several videos about Aussie. So yeah, the answer is yes. We've connected him to, what's his name, Crowley and all that. But yeah, long story short, yeah, if you go back in this live stream specifically, you'll see we talked about Aussie and the number 666. That's the big part. And the 201. So, yeah, go back a little bit. You'll find it. So, thank you to Ducky and Cork, unknown user Todd, Julie, David, Belga, unknown user David. I think I already said that. Maggie, everybody. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It is what time? 1:23. Here. I think that's an Aussie number, right? Let's see. The old 123. I think that was a big part of the Aussie decode. Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne equals 123. I think he was born on 12/3. I think there's more to it. Here. I can't let this take more than 2 minutes or we will go over 3 hours and then people really won't click on this. It's just funny. Someone brought up Ozzy and I looked at the clock. It's 1:23. Ozzy Osbourne, 1:23. I think Derek had a good 1:23 connection I talked about. You'll have to go back and watch my videos. But yeah, Ozzy Osbourne does equal 123. Where is it? Do I have it here? It's really not that important at this point. We connected it to the new Pope. Yeah, he died 1 month and 23 days from the Pope's birthday. Credit to Gematinator. 1 month, 23 days from the Pope's birthday. Ozzy Osbourne, 123. And other Pope connections. But including the end date, Mr. Crowley came out. Mr. Crowley was, I think, recorded on 322, which was 123 days from Ozzy's birthday. Ozzy born on 12/3. Ozzy Osbourne 123. And then Ozzy, another credit to Gematinator, Derek. Ozzy was born on 12/3, 12 months and 3 days after Aleister Crowley died. And again, Ozzy Osbourne 123. He had the song Mr. Crowley. Right? And Ozzy died 132 days before Crowley's death date. Mr. Crowley 132. Mr. Crowley is also 666. He also died 7 months and 22 days from Crowley's death date, and he died on 7/22. Crowley had the 777 Kabbalistic writings. Ozzy died 77 years, 7 months after Crowley died. Shout out to Franchot Pearson for that one. And there's so much more. Yeah, I got to go. We got to keep it under 3 hours. You guys go, if you have any more interest in Ozzy, go watch all the Ozzy videos. It's very deep. Start with the most recent ones because they're going to have the most info. So, all right, guys, we're at 2:58. We got to keep this under 3 hours. So, thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate you all. Hey, Gary. Yeah, Gary, go back. Remember, if you watch it on fast forward, you can get it done half the time. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Love y'all. Appreciate everything. Do me a favor on the way out. Hit the like and the share. Very much appreciated. All right. And leave a comment after the fact. It helps the algorithm. But we will leave it there. All right. Again, hit the like and the share. All that fun stuff. And as always, keep looking up. We are living in the biblical end of days. Jesus is coming very soon. I can't wait. And I'll see you guys on the next video. God bless.